Welcome to the Summit for Wellness podcast, where we help you climb to the peak of your health. And now, here is your host, Brian Carroll.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brian Carroll, and I'm here to help people move more, eat well, and be adventurous. And normally, at the beginning of the year, I usually take a month, maybe 2 months off of the podcast just so that I can focus on other projects and our coaching clients that we work with. But I have seen some interesting reactions from people that I really want to address in this episode. And on this podcast, I really tried to avoid politics or anything like that, so I'm not going to dive into politics in general, but this is based off of just what I saw coming from people after the Capitol attack that we saw last week. And in particularly, it's about people's goals and habits that they set for themselves and how they get bumped off of the bandwagon when something crazy happens or when life happens just in general. So when the Capitol attack happened, right afterwards, I started to see a lot of different posts on social media talking about, how dry January has ended for them on January 6th, or how trying to eat clean and their diets have ended because it's kind of one of those crazy times where people just go to the habits that they're used to, which could be a food habit, it could be alcohol. It's a fallback habit to something that they're used to comfort them through hard or interesting times. And so I really want to address, first off, why I think New Year's resolutions are stupid in the first place, and then how to restart goals. So why I think New Year's resolutions are stupid is because while it might be a great idea to think that, the first of the year is a great time to reset and restart, and it's going to be a brand new year and new me, new year, new me, all that type of stuff, the reality is it's just another day on the calendar, and the current events that are going on are still in the same process that they were the previous day. So the stuff that was going on December 31st did not magically disappear on January 1st. And yes, I know a lot of people do like to have kind of a set point to begin something from, which is why people like to do resolutions on New Year's or on a Monday or something similar to that. However, we need to get away from that mindset that we have to have a specific date or a specific day or a specific time to start a goal or start a new habit. And we need to recognize that we can start those goals or habits at any point and at any given time. Life will happen, and there will always be bumps in the road, no matter what you do to try to prevent it. But that doesn't mean that your journey to reaching your habit has to end there. So in this episode, I just want to talk about some ways to get restarted on your goals and your habits so that you can be more successful. And, I've been in this industry for well over a decade, and it's almost like clockwork that the first 2 weeks of the new year, everyone is hyper-focused on their health and their wellness, their fitness. And then by that third week in January, everything starts to drop off. So after about 14 days, it gets tough because, you can do anything for 2 weeks, but then things start getting in the way. Then maybe a work project is really taking up a lot of your time, and then that is replacing that habit that you were trying to create. Or maybe there's a lot of stress with family, or maybe you just start getting cravings for different foods that you've been missing out on because you took 14 days to try and stay away from them. And since this is almost like clockwork, how this happens every single year within the health industry, this is why you'll start seeing advertisements for different health products and health programs and everything right around February, because they know most people had already dropped off by that point, and they're trying to get people back and get them restarted. So one thing that leads to inconsistent habit changes is the fact that we put so much emphasis on a big goal, and we don't really break out the steps to reach or achieve that goal. So for instance, let's say your goal is to lose weight. So you think on January 1st, you're going to start going to the gym 5 to 7 days a week. You're going to eat clean. You're going to take sugar out of your diet. You're going to eat salads 8 times a day. And you're going to do the best that you can to lose that weight. Well, that is a lot of huge changes in a short amount of time. And that gets overwhelming. So that's why after about 2 weeks, you're like, I'm tired. My body is sore. I'm looking for any type of excuse not to exercise, and I just want a piece of cake. And that's when you start falling off the bandwagon. And going back to how we're traditionally taught how to start a new goal, this could happen on a Wednesday that you fall off the bandwagon and you're like, okay, I'm going to restart on Monday. Well, now you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to fall deeper off that bandwagon because you're waiting on Monday to restart. And then by the time Monday comes back, you're so far gone that you're like, it's not even worth my time at this point. And that's the mindset that we need to shift. We need to shift away from trying to do everything at once, which that does work for some people. I will give them that. But for most people, it does not. And James Clear of Atomic Habits actually has a really good method for habit changes. So if you read the book or listen to it on Audible or anything, Atomic Habits is all about making small incremental changes each and every single day that takes you to a set goal that you're trying to achieve. So for instance, instead of trying to do everything at once, you're trying to do small little steps. So if you're trying to get into like a workout program, instead of going to the gym for 60 minutes every single day because you're trying to develop a exercise routine habit, maybe you start off with you're just putting on your workout shoes in the morning for a week. And then after the week, then you're actually driving to the gym for a week. And then the following week, now you're actually going into the gym and doing like a 5-minute workout. And then you're expanding that to a 10-minute workout. And then a 20-minute workout. So you're slowly making this progress and just building up little tiny habits that would help get you to actually stay with that fitness routine. So his whole theory is working on being 1% better every single day. And over the entire year, over 365 days, you're going to make so much more improvements if you're improving 1% every single day than you would if you're trying to go all out right out of the gate. And if you read his book, he's got different ways to identify current habits, and then he's got different laws of habit change. So his 4 steps to identifying habits is he's looking at a cue, he's looking at a craving, he's looking at the response to the craving, and then the reward. By spending time to take a habit and break it down through these different categories, you can start to figure out, what triggers the habit that you have. And then your habit that you currently have is probably the reward center for that trigger. So you can start breaking things out and seeing what leads to the current habit that you have. He also talks about how we spend too much time focusing on new habits instead of trying to correct the current habits that we have. So instead of focusing so much on a brand new health habit, maybe you should look at what you're currently doing for your health and start working on those habits. So if you eat cake every single night or eat ice cream every single night, maybe you start backing that off to just 6 days a week instead of 7. And then he also has his 4 laws of habit change, which are to make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. So obviously, if you go and get his book, I'll have a link to his book in the show notes at summitforwellness.com/140. Then you'll be able to break these down a little bit more and understand how to dive deeper into these different laws. But it's a really good way to make those habit changes that you're trying to do much easier to achieve by breaking it down into small, easy steps. And then he's got also a really good viewpoint that the most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. So typically we have very simple goals such as I want to lose weight. I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to eat better. I want to be fit. But those are more like aesthetic changes, and that really doesn't change who it is that we want to become. So we need to dig deeper a little bit to figure out who it is that we want to be, and then how do we reach that? So if you want to be someone that can go snowboarding all day long, then what are the steps that you need to take in order to make that happen? Instead of just being like, I want to be fit. So again, going back to the beginning, and when I was talking about how people like to reset and start on habit changes on a set date, such as the 1st of January or a day of the week, like a Monday, we need to recognize that we can change that mindset and do it at any point. So if at lunch you had a really bad meal that wasn't really following your diet or following the habit that you're trying to change, well, lucky for you, you're probably going to eat again at dinner. So that is a new opportunity to try and change your habit again. You don't have to wait till the next day. Every single meal is your opportunity to stick with what you were trying to achieve. And we need to do a better job of letting things go when we make, quote, a mistake. And because we're going to have failures along the way, and that's just part of life, but we can jump right back on the next chance we get. And the next chance is going to be more successful if you make it as soon as possible instead of waiting a long period of time to start back over. So hopefully this episode brought just a little bit of clarity to you, and it will help you to think through your goals a little bit and set your goals up to be more achievable, and just to recognize that you can restart at any point. You don't have to wait until a set date or a set day or a set time. Every single moment of the day that we have is a new chance to start fresh. So hopefully this was helpful. You can go to the show notes and check out James Clear's book or some of the other resources at summitforwellness.com/140. And if I see other things that I think need to be addressed, such as this, then I will go ahead and do a quick episode on it and release it out to you, because I want to make sure that you have all the tools to be as successful as possible for your health journey. So whatever your health journey is, we have tons of episodes on so many different topics and a wide range of topics that you can get started with. And then you can always reach out if you want to dig a little bit deeper, and I can do episodes like this that dive deeper into those questions so that other people can benefit from what it is you're trying to learn as well. So have a fantastic rest of your week and keep climbing.